poppin'? It's your girl Custom Zai back with another video, and today I'm finna be showing y'all how I create a masterpiece step by step. So let's get into it. The first thing that I do is conceptualize what it is that I want to paint. So I basically come up with like a subject, and then I start to think of like what imagery I want to be in the composition. So and right now I feel like I have an artist block, so I ask myself what has been on my mind the most lately, and honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I've been having nightmares. I'm not really going to explain how they go or what they are or whatever, because personally I feel like that's going to make them worse. But yeah, you'll be able to like kind of get a feel for it after the whole thing is done. And yeah, once you see like what I put together. With that being said, nightmares. Just to speak generally on it, I'm not gonna go into depth like I said, but just to speak generally on it, they're always like apocalyptic and somebody chasing me, trying to kill me. They give very much that. So for that, my imagery includes like a landscape, obviously. Oh, because it's like they be outside too. Sometimes they transition to the house, but anyways, so I chose a landscape like outside, and then the main person running like towards the, I think of it as a camera, like a movie scene, but you could just say towards the viewer, like towards the outside of the canvas, coming towards the person viewing the painting or whatever. So I got a reference for the landscape, a reference for the person coming, like the main character running, who's symbolizing me. There are also people running towards them or running after the main person. Those symbolize the nightmares. After I conceptualized all that and figured out what I want my imagery to be, I started looking for the actual images, because some people like to draw from their imagination. Some people could just think of what I just said, be like, boom, okay, boom, and then boom, do it. But me, I like a good reference, a great reference actually. So that is what I started doing. So the landscape picture, I took that already. It was just pretty outside one day, so I took it. And then the main person running, I got that from Pinterest, and then the rest of the people running, I got that from like Getty Images. So after I compiled all my images, I emailed them to myself to create the composition through Photoshop. So let me show y'all. Okay, so like I said, these are the images that I wanted. So we have the landscape picture that I took, and then we have one of the people running in the back, another person running. The main character's body is going to be closer, so that's why she's like closer. Another person, and then for the main person's face, just reference for like a sad, disturbed face. Don't mind the fact that she's Caucasian. By the time we're done with this, she's gonna look very much seasoned. Okay, so now after I got all of the pictures compiled, I go over to Photoshop. So I go over to Photoshop and put all of the pictures over there. Now, I could do a separate video of like a tutorial type-ish, but this is not that. So I'm going to come back when everything is all together and the reference picture is completed, when all of the images are on the same canvas, and I can yeah, show y'all. So boom, come back on that step. Okay, so this is the final product after I put everything together. Also, I added like an overlay of lightning in the sky, because yeah, that's very much giving nightmare. And I'm not using the people's heads in the background because it's not important. It's just representing bad things, nightmare stuff. So yeah, so after I finished like putting everything together, I put lines. Basically, I put a grid over this whole image and then put the same grid, well, a grid with the same dimensions. So if I do 20 lines across, 16 lines down, I do 20 lines across, 16 lines down. And then whatever is in each square on here, I put in each square on here. So that's what's gonna happen. Boom. So this is everything transferred into the square. Obviously, I didn't put like smaller details like the like you can't see where like the tree and stuff is gonna go and like grass and stuff like that, because I just figured that out as I paint. But as far as getting the pencil on there, that is all the detail that is going to be. So now we're moving on to the next phase, and that is adding a wash over it. Basically just cover everything in like a sienna, a light shade, sienna, brown, whatever. Yeah, and we're using oil paint, so yeah. So boom, this is the oil wash with like the brown. Now you can barely see the pencil, but this is our base basically. So we won't well, I'm not gonna say we're not gonna have any, because obviously not every spot is covered, but this is to inform you less likely to have like little white spots and like patches at the end of the painting, because you covered everything with brown. So brown is our base now. So from here, I'm gonna fill in the darks basically with a darker brown. And although even if that's not necessarily the dark, like it's not necessarily the color, it's all gonna make sense. But just go in with a dark brown and go in with all the darks. So like, for example, under her mouth, I would put a little bit of a dark brown. Anywhere where it's dark, like under the arm, a little bit of dark brown. Boom. So yeah, that's what we finna come back and do. And boom. So this is what I meant, filling in all the darks. So really it's just slowly coming together. So next you will add your mid-tones, and then finally your light tones. The mid-tones is the kind of the hardest part, because that's when I actually start focusing on like actual color. So that will take longer, but I'll try to come back when that's done. Hopefully I don't come back with the whole thing done, because that's what I be doing. That's what I do. That's what I do. He just won't be real fucking acting like he's satisfied. He's like,
job tomorrow at a shop I could. That's not where my heart is. It's time I own something.
So it happened. Hella bit is done after I said I would come back. But you know, it be like that because I actually have footage of me putting like more of the medium detail.
My letters of recommendation.
Hopefully that will give you a better understanding of what I did to get there, considering the fact that I just, you know, skipped hella steps.
Miss North, you're missing what we like to call here Sesame Street savings, the 3 C's.
So I'm
Credit, collateral,
Color.
And I just, like I said,
which is
added the
something that you could
mid-tones, and I
earn
ended up
by
adding
acquiring one
blood
of our
to it.
secure credit
That
cards.
wasn't even part of my
As
original
opposed to throwing
composition.
around your
Neither was the
waistline.
fire. Neither was the fire. But I added fire and blood and mid-tones and all that stuff. So now I just have to keep going. So I think I'm gonna add more to the hair next, and then last would be like the background, the trees and all that stuff. So yeah, stay tuned.